accessible than you think. It doesn't have to be fancy language or really complicated forms. It can be really simple. And I think sometimes the most beautiful poetry is really just the simplest and most clearly stated words. The problem with this notebook is that so many of the poems are so sensual, because that's kind of the mood that I was in back then. I was always just like caught up in crushes and wanting to have a partner, and so I think that's really reflected in this notebook. So I'm gonna try and find some less risque poems, just because I'm trying to have a family-friendly account. Okay, this is a good one. This is Billy Collins, and it's called Introduction to Poetry. I ask them to take a poem and hold it to the light like a color slide, or press an ear against its hive. I say drop a mouse into a poem and watch him probe his way out, or walk inside the poem's room and feel the walls for a light switch. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem, waving at the author's name on the shore. But all they want to do is tie the poem to a chair with a rope and torture a confession out of it. They begin beating it with a hose to find out what it really means. One of my favorite poets, probably my favorite poet, is Mary Oliver, who actually recently passed away a few months ago. I like her for a couple reasons. One being that she's a queer woman, and honestly, as a queer woman, I think that I gravitate more towards queer female writers. Secondly, she writes a lot about nature, and I find her poems not only interesting but comforting when I would feel anxious and or just like having major existential crises. Her poems really were important in grounding me and making me see things in a more positive light. So this is my favorite of her poems, probably one of her more famous ones. It's called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. another poet who I really love, even though he has a history of being misogynistic. So I feel a little conflicted writing his poems, but this is one I really do enjoy, so I'm gonna share it. And you can take it with a grain of salt. So this poem is called Let It Enfold You by Charles Bukowski. Cautiously, I allowed myself to feel good at times. I found moments of peace in cheap rooms, just staring at the knobs of some dresser or listening to the rain in the dark. The less I needed, the better I felt. There's a poem I'm looking for. Here it is. Okay. This is another poem by Charles Bukowski. This is probably my favorite of his. It's called Bluebird. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him, I say. Stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night, sometimes, when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back. But he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact. And it's nice enough to make a man weep. But I don't weep. Do you? So on this next page, it's actually really interesting. There's a Tumblr page that a writer has created. And on it, he's created this dictionary called the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. And if you've never seen it before, you should look it up. This writer takes words that some already exist, some are taken from other languages, and some he just kind of makes up, I think. And he almost repurposes them. He just comes up with his own definitions. And all of the definitions for the words are very poetic, and they capture experiences that we all have but have never had words for. So I'm going to go through and read some of my favorite words. The first one is called sonder, and the definition is the realization that each passerby has a life as vivid and complex as your own. When I read that one for the first time, it really freaked me out. And I realized I especially had it when I would be in traffic driving and you see all the people going different places and they're all stuck in traffic just like you are. I don't know, it's just an interesting experience to think about. The next word I want to share is opia, which is the ambiguous intensity of looking someone in the eye, which can feel simultaneously invasive and vulnerable. I think that's a really beautiful definition. And also something that is like super accurate. Eye contact can be so intense, and it's interesting when you're in public and everyone's eye contact, especially in like big cities where you run into so many people. It's just like too much to make eye contact with everyone. So, a lot of people know Margaret Atwood as the author of The Handmaid's Tale, but Margaret Atwood is also an incredible poet. She wrote this poem, You Begin, about her daughter, I'm pretty sure, or her child. I think it was her daughter. And it's one of my favorites, so I'm going to read it. You begin this way. This is your hand. This is your eye. That is a fish, blue and flat, on the paper, almost the shape of an eye. This is your mouth. This is an O, or a moon, whichever you like. This is yellow. Outside the window is the rain. Green because it is summer. And beyond that, the trees, and then the world, which is round and has only the colors of these 9 crayons. This is the world, which is fuller and more difficult to learn than I have said. You were right to smudge it that way, with the red and then the orange. The world burns. Once you have learned these words, you will learn that there are more words than you can ever learn. The word hand floats above your hand, like a small cloud over a lake. The word hand anchors your hand to the stable. Your hand is a warm stone I hold between 2 words. This is your hand. These are my hands. This is the world, which is round but not flat and has more colors than we can see. It begins. It has an end. This is what you will come back to. This is your hand. Sometimes I also draw in my book. I'm gonna read one more poem. This is called The Bird Understander by Craig Arnold. Of many reasons I love you, here is one. The way you write me from the gate at the airport, so I can tell you everything will be alright. So you can tell me there is a bird trapped in the terminal. All the people ignoring it because they do not know what to do with it, except to leave it alone until it scares itself to death. It makes you terribly sad. You wish you could take the bird outside and set it free. Or failing that, call a bird understander to come help the bird. All you can do is notice the bird and feel for the bird and write to tell me how language feels impossibly useless. But you are wrong. You are a bird understander, better than I could ever be, who makes so many noises and call them song. These are your own words, your own way of noticing and saying plainly, of not turning away from hurt. You have offered them to me. I am only giving back. If only I could show you how very useless they are not. Thank you for watching. I hope that you found this relaxing. And I'll see you again soon.